All right, guys, we are live. We're going to start in about 10 minutes. We have the one and only Seattle Sounders Academy goalkeeper director, Fred Bragaglia, with us in about 10 minutes. You can see him right now because he's already on the screen, but we're going to start in about 10 minutes. We're waiting till Saskia and everybody joins us here. This is going to be a great chat, guys, so really looking forward to it. I am going to put you guys right here. So, yeah, there we go. Put your comments and all that fun stuff in there if you want to join us in this fun discussion. We're talking 1v1s today, and Fred's got an incredible presentation for all you guys as well too. So really looking forward to this, guys. I am just gonna start sharing this out. Oh boy, what did I just do? There we go. Write a post. I like how I'm telling everybody what I'm doing right now. Come on. There we go. Paste. Beautiful. Are you do you guys have? Are you guys wrapping up Academy right now, or do you guys have getting ready for MLS next playoffs, or what's the deal?
Yeah, the next step, we have 2 more games against Portland and Vancouver before the playoffs. 17 is already qualified for the playoffs, and the 15 still need to play these next 2 games to figure out what's the next step.
Oh, nice, dude. I love it. So you're doing stuff with Rain at the same time as Sounders? That's got to be a lot, man.
I start with the Rain when I arrive in US, and then I jump to Sounders. Of course, now with the commitment with Sounders, I'm helping less with Rain, but all the time that when I can, I'm there to support them and help, because it's amazing community. You know, Amy, all the staff, and the goalie coaches like Doug and Megan, really good people to, open mind to share ideas, and that's the way that I love to learn. Like talk to people and then share experience, and then when you're when the door is open, we cannot close the doors, for the type of situations.
Oh, for sure, man. I mean, and does Amy do anything with the goalkeepers at all at Rain, or she's just more like behind the scenes?
She's the director for the academy, and then sometimes she pops up and then helps us, and then the 1v1 guidelines start with her. She came, different styles of plays that we still have, not just from the past, every, I don't know, 4 years, 5 years, the style of play changed a little bit, and then she said, Fred, can you, Doug and Megan, can you guys figure out to put something together and then help me to understand these new ideas of 1v1? Back in the day, I used to do this. And then I said, no, let's sit down, and then we're going to make that easier for the goalies, because in these days, they don't watch soccer as we used to. And then, it's different, the environment is different now. Everything online. They don't go to the stadium too much. And then that's when I start to say, let's do it something different that can speed up the process and show them the ideas that we can share, and make sure they get the ideas and can adapt themselves to perform even better during the games.
Yeah. Hey, Sas.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Good.
Really good.
Good.
I need my angel hat as well. Come on.
I know it's a hot commodity.
It's nice, looking good.
Thank you.
I think you're on your snap cam.
Oh, my snap cam. Okay.
Yeah.
Settings.
We were just talking to Fred. He's doing Rain and Sounders at the same time. Talk about.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Is that better, Mike?
Yeah, much better.
Okay.
Much better.
That's a big workload.
Yeah.
Not easy, but we love what we do, and then we need. My target is help people, as much as I can, doing what we love, and then doing what you guys doing every day. Like sharing experience and knowledge, and be there to help people to achieve what they want. If it's playing pro, if it's playing to a high level college, or just to be a great goalkeeper in the end of the weekend. That's our job to help them.
Absolutely.
Oh, for sure. We were just talking about he was just talking about the Rain Academy, Sounders Academy, and some great players coming out of that. We were obviously talking about Niku, who I know you've had the chance to chat with a good amount.
Yes. I went after her for a year. And now I'm not at UCLA. I was like, do you want to switch to USC? But it's okay. She's a great kid, and she has such a bright future ahead of her. Such a bright future.
All right. So we will just give me a few seconds just to set this all up right here. By the way, Fred, your English is absolutely outstanding now, man. Seriously. Like it's, you are like a fluent speaker now. I know last time you were on the show, you're like, oh, I don't know how great my English is. Your English is amazing now, man.
I appreciate, man. It's like goalkeeping. We need to keep practicing, It's not easy as a foreigner. When I didn't have the chance to study when I was young, and then when you come abroad and then you need to learn, and you're getting old and getting harder and harder. But that's my target was always to have a chance to work abroad in a high level, and then the English is the basic. You can be the best goalkeeper coach ever, but if you don't know how to deliver the information, that's not gonna happen.
Oh, that's huge. Absolutely. For sure. All right. Almost done with this, guys, and then we will get going. Give me 1 second here. All right. Suska, I got your I just saw your text thing come through. That's great.
Awesome.
I haven't had a chance to check it out yet, but we can chat about it on the show and announce it. So.
Awesome, super exciting.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
I just sent it out to the world. So.
Oh, nice. Very cool. Very cool. All right. All right. Almost done here. Oh, great. Done with all of that. Beautiful. Fantastic. Oh, all right. Oh, we already got some questions in the comment section. I love it. Fantastic. All right.
Good start.
Exactly. All right, let me toss this off.
Tell me when you're going live, because I'm going to go grab my Red Bull.
Oh, go grab your Red Bull. You got 2 minutes. You got 2 minutes. Yeah, go grab your Red Bull. Go grab your Red Bull. Go grab your Red Bull. Khalid, great question. We're going to be definitely talking about that. Again, guys, we're going to start in about 2 minutes right now. Fred Bragaglia. Fred, am I pronouncing that right? Bragaglia?
Yeah, Bragaglia.
Bragaglia.
Bragaglia. Yeah. Some people say Bragaglia. It's same.
I love it,
same,
man.
same.
Maybe we'll talk about this when the show starts. You know what? I'm going to save this until the show starts. And all right, let's get this going. All righty. Here where the heck is the thing here? All right. Here we go. Welcome to Inside the 18. I'm Michael Magid, live from Hollywood, California. With me, you know her as former U.S. women's national team goalkeeper, 99 World Cup winner, Saskia Weber. Big day for U.S. soccer, for equal rights, for the women's national team. Fantastic stuff. Congratulations to everyone who's ever been involved with the U.S. women's program. This is absolutely fantastic news. Before we get to our guest, Saskia, why don't you tell everybody out there who might not be familiar what we are talking about?
Well, we finally came down to a mutual collective bargaining agreement where everything's equal across the board, including World Cup pay, which always was a big issue. Well, FIFA pays the men this, so why should the women get equal across the board?
Yep. And speaking of equal across the board, we have somebody who gives equal time to both the women's game and the men's game. We have Seattle Sounders Academy goalkeeping director Fred Bragaglia, if I pronounced it properly, making his triumphant return to the show. Also involved with OL Reign. Fred, thanks for coming on, man.
Thank you guys for having me again. It's a pleasure to talk with you guys, and then talk about goalkeeping is what we love to do it, And then it's my pleasure to be part of OL Reign and Sounders, big community here in Washington. The clubs are helping and try to bring everybody together and give them the opportunity to be part of both organizations. That's amazing.
Yeah, and I just read an article, I think it's going to be posted on the Union tomorrow, but about a lot more MLS teams that are looking to start NWSL teams and have that joint community, which with the success of the NWSL in like 22,000 at the Angel City Games, and with the success of Reign, and I think that it's just going to keep growing. It's going to be amazing.
Absolutely. So Fred, why don't we catch up some of the audience here who last time you were on the show, it was during the pandemic, and you were working for, I believe it was Santos at the time, right? In the Philippines. Is that who you were?
No, it was Cruzeiro.
Oh, okay. Oh boy. Yeah. Oh boy. Okay.
It's okay. It's a Brazilian
so let me just rephrase that right there. You were working for a club that was a famous club, and it was not the one that I just mentioned right there. But why don't you kind of explain to everybody kind of this move to MLS and NWSL from over with in the Philippines?
Yeah, I spent like almost 6 years in Asia, Thailand, China, and Philippines, working with Cruzeiro and Kodion and BSM. And then Cruzeiro have some partnership with some clubs in Asia, and they have this main academy in Thailand. And then because of COVID, I was living in the Philippines, and myself and my wife, we decided to move to US. And then OL Reign opened the doors for me first, to understand a little bit more about the women's soccer. I started helping at the academy, OL Reign Academy. Thanks, Amy, for the opportunity. And then after that, I got the opportunity to jump to Sounders Academy as a U15 and 17 goalie coach, being directed through Josh Ford. Amazing goalie coach, amazing human being as well. You guys had Tom Dutra before he had the show, another outstanding goalie coach and human being that gave me the best warm welcome at the club. And then, yes, now just understand a little bit more about both scenarios, and then trying to help and help the kids to get better and better. That's our job.
Absolutely. And I love the fact that you were bringing up, obviously today, Saskia, when we're talking about representation when it comes to the women's national team, the fact of people such as Amy, involved in director positions, just absolutely phenomenal for the women's game.
Absolutely. I mean, she is, obviously a World Cup champion, 91. People tend to forget about 91 for some reason, which really started everything for us. And taking, her skills and staying prevalent in the game till now, being a director, being still a great goalkeeper, coach, mentor, and just across the board, she sets the bar. So
yeah. Absolutely. Now, so Fred, kind of like just a real quick question that I have for you is in regards to with the Sounders Academy and the OL Reign Academy, is there a lot of crossover in regards to the, kind of training, in regards to curriculum sharing and all of that sort of thing?
Every club is different. Some clubs you're not allowed to share the ideas and methodologies, but I think both clubs, they go in a very good direction. OL Reign has two amazing goalie coaches, that Doug and Megan, and we have the backup Amy Griffin as a mentor, as that give us all her experience in the game and outside the game as well. And then going to Sounders, you have Tom Dutra, you have Garth that played as a goalie as well, you have Josh Ford, and now I'm there adding a little bit more to the program. But every club has their own methodology. We're not allowed to share. I'm like between. It's good for me. I love it because you can see both sides and both ideas. Goalkeeping, I don't believe this is right, this is wrong. It's about what you believe, what you put in practice, and the results that you get it. And both clubs have been like unbelievable with the results that and the effort that they put in with the goalkeeping department. You can see OL Reign just growing, and you can see Sounders. Now we just won GA Cup. The first team just won Champions League. and means they are in a good way, you know.
Absolutely. By the way, Saskia, for some reason, I feel like basically everyone in your neighborhood waits until we start recording this podcast before they start doing construction work in your neighborhood.
It's the same time. They're out there mulling around, and then they see me get on the computer and put the earphones on, and they're like, now it's time to blow. Let's get the blowers out and everything. I'm just like, every time.
It's absolutely.
I'll put it on mute until I have something to say.
That's okay. That's okay. We haven't even had the dogs yet today. Just leaf blowers, but no dogs.
Yeah.
No dogs today. Well, let's kind of get into this topic because Fred, you put together an amazing presentation for this today, and I know this is something that's really close to your heart. Today's topic, guys, is guidelines for the 1v1 scenarios. Fred, maybe for some parents out there who are listening with their young goalkeepers and they don't know what we mean by a 1v1 scenario, what do we mean by that?
The 1v1, you have different types of 1v1, of course, but that's when most of the time you see the striker with the ball, or the ball is into the space, and then you need to take that quick decision. What I gonna do it? I have time. I don't have time. The ball is into the space. The ball is near to the striker. What type of technique I'm gonna use? I'm gonna defend the space. I'm gonna defend the goal. It's a really tough moment that you need tough players as well to solve that problem. I know some people, when they see two players around, tell that's not 1v1, that's 2 against 1. But for me, it's just the way that the people call. Some people say, oh, break up is when the striker is by themselves against the goalie. That's what I call 1v1. But for me, it's all the time that you have the chance to apply the 1v1 technique. Can be the block, the split, the low dive, and then I call 1v1 because the goalkeeper decide to go for it, to close the space, to the angle, and that's the situation that getting more exposed now with the style of play of the teams, and then we can see more and more, and then different types of technique as well, because everybody's different, and then that's what we're gonna talk about today.
Yeah. So speaking of that, actually, Saskia, Fred just brought up a really good point in regards to the 1v1, and I think a lot of young goalkeepers misunderstand that a 1v1, and they think that a 1v1 scenario is just one person coming at the goalkeeper. But in reality, a 1v1 scenario does involve the entire team. It's all about, delay and, allowing players to get back, or a player being out of position and you having to become a first defender, that sort of thing.
Absolutely. And, there's so many different styles. It basically it can be a quick ball in the box that you have to come and you have to close, where there can be multiple people in the box, but you're the last defender, you're the cover, and you have to come. That's a quick 1v1. To the long breakaway, to a through ball, to anything 1v1. But you have to train all of it. And I think a lot of times when you're with the team and stuff, it'll be like something that develops maybe at the top of the box, maybe on the arc, a quick through ball 1v1. Yes. But what we don't see a lot is that long 1v1 train. That, in my opinion, that's probably one of the hardest to deal with, because with a quick through ball into the box around the 12, around wherever, it's a quick decision. You come, you're already kind of close to the player. But with that long breakaway, that long 1v1, there's a lot going through your head.
Yeah.
The timing on when to come out. Did I come out too soon? Can it go over the top? Which way am I pushing? Let me see if they're going to do a long touch, the whole 9 yards. So I think all of it needs to be trained. I'm sorry. I'm going to close.
No.
Go ahead. And we have the 1v1 outside the box as well. Of course, the presentation that I prepared was more inside the box, because that's the foundation, the starting point for me, but can be outside the box, can be over the top, can be, inside the 6, inside the 18, and it's more complex than we think. When it's 1v1, it's very complex. And then when we talk about sessions as well, you need to break that pieces, and then you're gonna step by step try to improve and then show the keepers, the angles, what they need to do it to make sure they're gonna achieve that big save, because 1v1 now becomes a big save, because the way that your team press, that's gonna determine the type of 1v1 you're gonna use. The way that your team, the way that your back four works, the characteristics of your defenders. Oh, I have a very fast defender. I can trust on him to help, and then just gonna hold. How far is the striker from the goal? The strikers come from all the way from the middle of the field. He's gonna be tired there. The pressure is behind him. He has less time. He has more time. It's complex, but we will try to break that down and then show you guys a little bit.
Yeah. Speaking of breaking down, it seems like that the windows closed has helped break down the leaf blowing going on. Saskia, I love, one of the things, Fred, that you brought up right here, and I would love to get, Saskia's feedback here for those of you guys who are listening and not watching right here, putting a little bit of a guidelines up here, and Fred had really mapped out, and I really, encourage all of you guys to watch the video here. Act, observe, decide, orient. I love, Saskia, what he put up top in regards to observe. What is the current situation? What should I do to help or solve that problem? Not how do I solve the problem, make a save, but what can I do to help in this scenario? Because it's always different.
It's always different. And you might just have to delay. And it's not about, I have to come make the save. I have to do. What if you delay? What if you slow that player down, hold them up so your defense can recover, and now you're in a better situation. So everything is different. Everything has a different way to solve it. It's not just one thing fits all. Period.
Yeah.
One thing I
want. Go ahead, Fred.
I would like to share here is, I know some people, they don't like to break down stuff. Like, for example, the phase of the game. They want to have a session that you can connect all the phases with the ball, without the ball, transitions. Some people believe that when you break that, the success is not the same. But I believe at the formation of the youth academy, we need to break down for them a little bit more to make sure they understand every single step. We know that the cycle is really quick. You pay attention there, you send a decision, you take a action, you give information, and then you need to react. You need to get ready with your body shape. But when you break that down and then you show them the videos or doing the practice, I believe that it's much easier for them to understand and then put in practice during the sessions and during the games.
I love that you keep putting pictures up of all my favorite keepers. I mean, came up, now Casey Murphy's up there. I'm like, this is amazing.
Just a point here, the older loop, that's the 4 steps, came from U.S. Air Force, John Boyd. He break up the decisions to help the guys to understand when they're gonna, attack and stuff like that. Just to make the people can understand that's not come from the soccer environment. First time I heard about it was through Nelson. Nelson was a goalkeeper, high level goalkeeper in Portugal, played for Sporting Portugal, and he wrote a book that called 1001 Decisions. And then you have different types too. It's like you're breaking a session as well. You break a session, you plan, you organize, you having been putting some challenges, game related. It's the same idea, but bring it to the decision making.
Yeah.
I love this. It's broken down perfectly.
No, I really love this. And Saskia, one thing I really love about this right here, for those of you guys who are listening and can't see it, is when he goes, if into the space, is it in the air, ground, high, or low? Because I think that the service and how the ball's played into the space determines so much how your approach is going to be and what your shape's going to be, right, Saskia?
Absolutely. I mean, for those of you that, I wish you guys could see it, but go onto the Union and you can see the whole thing when we repost and everything. But, reading the situation, where is the ball? What is going on in the game? They're all just such incredible points right here. Is anyone putting pressure on the ball? Do they have cover? Like it's everything you have to think. And people like, these are checklists. And we've talked about checklists in the past that you have to go through, and goalkeepers have to do these checklists in a split second.
Yeah. Yes.
It's
like
second.
Happen in a second.
It's
really quick. And then the best point for me is the last one there. The pressure is on the striker, just get ready to save or to react or take a step or to be aggressive on the ball. Don't take a decision before the striker gives you something, you know, that you need to relay, like, calm down, goalkeeping for me is about reacting. He's gonna do something, and then we're gonna react and then try to stop the momentum. You know what I mean? We cannot all the time. Of course, we can play mind with them. Okay, I'm fake that I'm going, but I'm not going, to make them take a decision. But we always need to react after them. If we go too early, we're gonna maybe get caught over or around, because we create space behind the goal, you know, behind the goalie. And then that's a big point for me that I share with the goalies is calm down, let them take a decision, and then we go. All right, or let the ball show you something. You know, the ball is telling you that you can go because the ball is really fast into the space, and then I can go. But if not, if the striker has the control of the ball, make sure you wait for his reaction, and then we react after that one, and then try to do our best.
Right, and we've talked about that, Mike, with Michelle Akers, as you know, greatest striker in history. That, you know, if you force them to make that decision, like that they're trying to bait you. They're trying to get you to come, get you to do that. Make the decision easy for them. Make them make a choice. Make them make that decision and then react to it, and that'll slow them down. And she said, she goes, the minute I get stood up, the minute I didn't bait you and everything, then I'm kind of messed up. My rhythm's off. And that's incredibly important.
I would say, you know, one of the things that you know, that's kind of crazy about this whole thing is that it's so easy in concept to say, you know, hold, be patient. You know, actually, there's a conversation we had with Casey Murphy in regards to patience. It's so easy to do that in concept. We're getting an echo here somewhere.
Yeah.
But is that the fact is the simple matter is that to have that discipline to say, I'm going to trust my instincts and wait for them to make a decision rather than try to force them. You know, it takes a lot from a mental standpoint, Fred. And I think, you know, a lot of times we need to focus on how mentally draining 1v1s are, especially for young goalkeepers.
For sure. That's when we need to bring them to the session and say, hey, look at this scenario here. How can you, you know, don't take the decision for them? How can you wait a little bit and try to speed up your decision, see what you can do it better? You know, don't get too excited. Sometimes I think the goalies, they want to save too much. Like, you know, calm down, relax, read the situation, and then try to do your best. And then we're going to adjust. Sometimes when goal happens, and ask the keeper, like, what can you do better in that situation? And then they come to me, oh, I should close that channel with my leg. I should attack the ball with my arm. I say, that's great. When I hear that, I say, we're getting there. But when you ask them, what can we do better? I don't know, coach. That's not what we want to hear. You know, it's like, oh, you understood what we need to do. That's great. Next time, try apply that decision, and then we will save the ball for sure.
Yeah, I want to bring this up right here because this is, you know, for those of you guys who are listening right now, we're talking about approaches now and how to come out on the 1v1 right here, and holding body shape, in my opinion, is so darn important. And you know, Saskia, we've got a young goalkeeper here that's pretty decent that we got in front of here for a demonstration. And Saskia, I know that for you, this is kind of the foundation of 1v1s is coming out kind of in that stock shape. You know?
Yeah, and you want to remain big. You know, if you just come out like, you know, we see such young goalkeepers, they just shoot out, you know, and they just run for the ball. They don't hold their shape and everything. And again, if you hold your shape and you remain big, it forces that forward coming at you to make different decisions. And they don't see the goal, they see you. And that's what you want, because to put the ball around you, usually the ball might go wide, you make the save or whatever. But if they don't see you, if you don't hold your shape and you become small in a sense, then all they see is the back of the net.
Yeah. You know, and Fred, you know, bring up this picture right here that we have right here in regards to the demonstration. I love the fact that her hands are in front of her knees. I can't tell you how many times young goalkeepers have their hands parallel with their body and think that that's enough. But in reality, in my opinion, the ball's moving too fast that by the time you react, you're actually going backwards that way.
Yes. And the hands is really important. And I tell the keeper is we need to attack the ball with our hands. We cannot let the ball hit our hands because especially when the keepers keep the hands behind the body, and like it's gonna hit your hands and gonna go inside the goal. But if we go and we approach the ball and attack the ball with our arms, we have a better chance to the ball hit our hands and our arms and go forward, not behind us. You know what I mean? And then one of the biggest problem is when the goalkeeper approach the ball. If they don't approach with a good body shape, they just run straight to the ball, and then they are out of balance, not big enough, you know. And then when they start understand, okay, you don't need to be super fast. You need to be in a good pace that you can close the angle in a good timing and with your good body shape to apply the best technique.
Yeah, and if you're just running and you're going too fast, it's easy just to pass the ball right by you. Because to slow your momentum to react to do anything from too fast of a pace, it's close to impossible. And I agree 100%. Your hands have to be forward, and you have to attack the ball with energy. If you just allow the ball to hit your hands, the ball is going to blow through your hands. So you want to attack the ball forward with energy, hit energy with energy, and it'll deflect the ball.
Yeah, you know, and I think, you know, one thing I think that's really, really important right here before we kind of move on to the next shape right here is the on your toes, the weight forward, on your toes type of thing. Because again, I can't tell you how many, especially young goalkeepers, I see come out and they set themselves with their heels back and just kind of stand there, and then they're kind of caught into the ground. The players can just dribble around them. It's a huge disaster. Or they default to this. So Fred, let's talk a little bit about the block shape, because I think one of the problems is so many young goalkeepers default to it in the wrong scenario or prior to the actual moment to drop into a block.
Yeah, and then the other point is they keep their heels on the ground, and then when the guy shoots, they just sit down on the ground. Like, that's not a 1v1 situation. The hands here, of course, thanks Nico. She was our top model and top high level keeper. That we took just one shot. I didn't let's see if your hands in the proper position, but no, the hands need to be a little bit facing more forward. You know, you can see the entire glove. Make sure you have more space to block the ball, and the feet is really important. Not flat. You need to be a little bit diagonal, because that foot that goes close the central channel. You know, we need to attack the ball with the front foot to close the central channel. That's where the smart strikers try to see one more chance to score through the legs or between the arms or on a top channel that's near to your shoulders and head. And then you drop the knee there. That was my old school block. We didn't split when I used to play as a fake goalkeeper. Saskia maybe.
Oh,
Saskia
don't
maybe
call
use
yourself.
the
Come
same-
on.
Saskia maybe used the same technique. Maybe Amy used the same technique. That was the block. I had a little bit of background with futsal in Brazil, but I grew up. I was too tall to play futsal, and then I moved back to soccer. But the block and the split comes from the futsal, and then the X, that when we jump and spread out, comes from the
I never
handball.
used that one.
The handball. That I never used that either. But the block shape is very effective.
Yeah, back for me and Amy, we'd close, make ourselves big, stand them up, or decide go hands to the ball, so the dive to the ball. So it's basically a smother on the ball at the same time. Flip that forward up in the air and everything. So never did the split though. I never did the split.
Fred, something I want to comment on right here, which I really love about Niku right here, is that she has her hand shapes almost creating a pocket inside, so that when the ball goes, I think a lot of people, when they drop into a block, their hands are flat like this. And the issue is if the ball hits your hands like that, well, your wrist is going to go back and you're going to hit it into the net. But the way she's doing it is if that ball hits into that space, she's going to contain it, much like containing a regular shot. Is that something that you work on?
Yeah, like if you go super flat, like this way, and then the ball might hit your hand and go straight back to the striker. If you go a little bit facing down, they're gonna hit, and it might be able to be near to your body, and then you're gonna be able to get the ball after again. You know what I mean? And one of the most important thing is some goalkeepers, they go to the block, but then they leave the hands in front of the body, like to close the central channel, but they forget the sides. You know, that's a big adjustment that a young goalkeeper, like when they're U9, U11, they try to protect the central channel. That's the job of the knee and the front foot, that you're going to attack the ball to close that center.
I think one of the biggest faults in the young goalkeepers and stuff with the block is the distance from the player that they are. You see a lot of young goalkeepers do the block or anything from too far away, and it's not effective. Your distance isn't the proper distance to actually do a quick block, and they'll set their block too soon, and the ball's just lifted around them, and you can't really move to cover that space from that position. It's the timing and the distance you are from the person to initiate a block save. That's so key.
Yeah, you know, one of the things that I recognize.
That's the golden.
Go ahead, Fred.
That's the golden.
I was going to say what.
You can go.
Go ahead, Fred.
That's the golden. That's the biggest key point. The biggest key point is sorry, my bad. The biggest key point for me is the distance. You know, and then when we talk about younger goalkeepers, they're trying to learn how to block a ball, and then they get smashed, of course, because the guy come with 100% power. You know, that's not all the time they come to place. And I say, if you're far from the ball, they're gonna hurt even more because the ball get the speed. You know, if you can come closer, the ball not gonna hit your face because there's not enough space for the ball to come out of the ground and go straight to your face. And then they start saying, oh, okay, I can be more aggressive.
Right.
You know, I can close the angle better. They're not gonna hurt me too much. You know.
Right.
That's
It goes back
really
to that initial comment that you made. Like, what is the right technique for this situation? And you know, that you have to teach young goalkeepers that, like I said, if they just think I'm supposed to do the block, that might not be the right technique in that situation. You might be too far from the player, you might be too close to the player or anything. So it's really important to teach them what technique, when to use it, how to use it.
So there's a question here from Khalid K over in Pakistan, and he says, what about the new technique about the 1v1? So I figured this is a great time to move into the split body shape, which I am not flexible enough to do this.
Yeah.
in any way whatsoever. But Niku clearly can do it very well. Oh my God. That looks painful right now, just watching it. Right here. Do you want to break this down a little bit, Fred, for Khalid?
Yes. Of course, just a picture. It's really hard to see goalkeepers. Maybe the new generation, the female generation, is gonna come with more splits, but it's not easy to find clips with goalkeepers. Women's soccer splitting. They block, or they spread, or they go on the ground for the 50-50. Right? But the new generation, they are more. I don't say more capable, but they have been more exposed to that type of situation, and then we're gonna see even more. All right. I add Sarah there as a top goalkeeper. That she was one of the best goalkeeper in the earth. I think last year or 2 years ago, and then she came to Royal Reign, and then won Champions League already. That's a way that I find to okay, Nico, can you see it? The top level keeper that played for the same team as you.
You're talking about Sarah Bouhaddi, who played for Lyon for so many years.
Yeah, and then she came last year, played for a season, and she moved back. Can you see it? That's your future. You know, you're really close, and then when you show that to the players, they're like, okay, that's not too far. You know, that's more realistic. Then I come and show Ederson from Manchester City that it's different body shape, it's different strength. You know, but when you compare in the same environment, it's easier for them to realize, okay, I will be able to do that. You know what I mean? I will be able to maybe do even better than her because you're having more opportunities to practice more, play even more than her back in the day. You know what I mean? And the split, you can go, here's just a picture, you know, like I said, this front foot here, that's straight on the ground, you need to move a little bit more diagonal. You know what I mean? It cannot be too flat, because and then you lose angle. And about the 1v1 is the angle. When your feet can attack the ball even closer, that's gonna be the difference to block the shot and not hurt yourself as well. You know what I mean? Some goalies, they just go to the side to make like a wall, but then when you're not too close to the wall, you open up some angles around or under or over to the ball can go through.
I want to bring this up right here with Saskia here, especially, you know, in regards to working with younger goalkeepers, because this is fantastic, and I appreciate you breaking all this down. But I think one of the problems, Saskia, that we have is we have a lot of young goalkeepers who haven't worked on this and perfected just the close off the angle, and they're trying to do this.
Correct. And it's a progression into things. You can't just go with the split or the block, and that's it. Again, we keep coming back. You have to understand what technique you use in what situation. But there's some basics: closing space, reading the play, reading the ball, everything. And it's a progression into this. Now let's see. Okay, you're closing, your timing's right, your angles are right, your positioning is right for this situation. And now we can grow from that.
Andrew Safehand Sewell says, great insight, Saskia.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks,
you.
Andrew.
I will say
Go ahead.
something here might hurt some people, right? But we need to be able to think. All the time I go to the session, goalie session or team session, I love to assess sessions, assess head coaches and goalkeepers. Not saying like, oh, this guy's better than this one, this guy is better than that. No, because in this new soccer environment, they're like, oh, let's play ball possession, but they don't know how to pass. How are we gonna keep possession if I don't know how to pass?
Exactly.
It's the same for goalkeeping. We need to step back to step one to go to the split. You know what I mean? Like, you cannot cross from 0 to 10. You need to go every day, every time, nice and slow. You know. And when we talk about sessions, if I don't know the keepers, and then I put them on a big goal in a more game realistic to see the scenario. But if I know the keepers, we need to go step by step, breaking that situation where they need to improve even more, and then we move on. You know, you cannot just go, oh, let's do a split today. You don't know how to do a block. You don't know how to approach. You don't know how to read the situation.
Exactly.
That's a big mistake.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, I break it down the same way as like if you're trying to teach a fundamentals to a 9 and 10-year-old, and you're working on top hand saves before they can catch a ball cleanly. Like it's a progression in regards to these actions and everything. And speaking of actions, I think this is a lost art, in my opinion.
And this is my favorite
1v1 slide dive. So Fred, why don't you explain to people why this is still effective and why young goalkeepers need to maybe watch some of the older goalkeepers and recognize how this is so effective?
I don't know if the new generation they're not brave enough anymore. They're not crazy. They're not crazy as we used to be, because in Brazil they say, people, you are really crazy. We do this stuff like this one. We put our face on the ball, we put our hands, we put our body there to go for the 50-50. And this technique is as effective as the other ones. We just need to know the time to apply. Mm-hmm. And I think I have the internet now with these views and social media. Sometimes I always talk with the goalies. You probably have seen that session that people like bounce the ball and then the keeper go there, jump, and the goalkeeper comes and like smash the ball towards the keeper. And then that's, for me, it's not the way to make them brave. Yeah. Make them brave is bringing that situation to the game. How many times do you see a keeper with a bouncing ball and then they jump and spread behind the ball in the air? It's really difficult. But on the ground, that's much more realistic. That happens even like all the time. That's our job to understand the league, to understand the type of clubs and environment that we work in, bring the real situation for them during the game. And then the slide dive for me is the bravest one. And then you can hold the ball. It's not all the time the ball gonna hit you and go away. You can keep the ball possession. That's great, because and then you solve the problem in one technique. You don't need to block and then go for the second ball. You need to tell the center back to react after that one to try to help you again.
Yeah, I find that with this, this is my I love this, and I think that especially in tight situations when you get a quick through ball and it's into the box or something like that, and you can go hands first to that ball, even if it hits 50-50, your momentum in your hands, you're going to win that. And if you do it properly, the ball will you'll either hold it or the ball will go back into your body. I think I agree with you. Are the kids today not brave? I'm not sure. Some of them, what I see is they try to do this, but they don't put their hands on the ball. They put their hands a distance from the ball, allow the forward to hit the ball into them, and then it's just a debacle, right? Yeah. So it's like, no, put your hands on the ball, same time that forward, even maybe before, is getting their foot to it, and you're smothering it right on their foot, and you're going to have the control. Your body's going to help you maintain control of that. Also, you can manipulate situations where if you're a defender, you can force them to step to the player so that you force that long touch by the attacker, then hands to the ball, 50-50, boom, you're on it. This is my favorite.
I want to say this too, Suska and Fred right here. I think one of the issues with a lot of younger goalkeepers that I try to bring up to them is they say, if a player takes a heavy touch, why are you giving them the opportunity to keep continuing on ground and you holding and giving them an opportunity to take a shot on goal
to get the ball again?
Yeah. When you can get the ball, you know?
Yeah, and it's that explosion. It's that explosion from you're going from a stagnant position to 1, 2, 3 steps, boom, down through the ball. Why let them touch the ball again and then come? You know, I agree with you 100%, Mike.
You know, and I can't tell you how many times, Fred, I see this, is that it's a combination of the two, because they've been taught, especially at the younger ages, 9, 10, 11, they've been taught, come out, call keeper, and then they stop. Because and they get into a block. They go keeper, and then they get into a block. I'm like, dude, that's not you're all over the place with that right there. But I think that's why we really need to break it down and explain when is right, what are you doing in these type of scenarios here. I want to move on into the game scenarios here. Yeah, so let's come into here right now. What do we got going on here?
That's the beginning of the decision making. As a goalie, we need to be able to scan the field before the situation happens. You know, you cannot let the situation happen. Oh, I should go. You know, like we need to read that situation earlier. How many strikers? Who is close to the ball? What's the player has the pressure on the ball, without the pressure. You know, who is doing the run? That's going to be a ball over the top, on the ground, into the space. And when we take that quick scan on the field, we're gonna speed up our decision. You know what I mean? That makes our life easier.
Right, and this comes back to what I say, where you're not so reactive, you're proactive. You're scanning the field. There are multiple decisions you might have to make. Be on that front foot. Be leaning into it, saying, okay, if this ball is played here, this is what I'm going to do. If it's played here, this is what I'm going to do. I still have to cover my goal, so I'm not getting out of position or anything like that. But that's what we're talking about, those decisions that goalkeepers have to make in a split second, but be ahead of the game. Scan the field, see what's going on, and then if that attacker has multiple decisions, she could do several different services on the ground, in the air, this and that, but be prepared for all of them.
Yeah, and I love this right here, Fred. I mean, honestly, this is so cool right here, because I want to show this to my young goalkeepers right here, because I think it's very simple. When you do it, you color-coded it for those of you guys who are listening right now. He's color-coded where to hold in regards to which areas the service comes into, in regards to the movement, where you hold, where you don't go, and where you come out and win the ball. And I think this is phenomenal for young goalkeepers to see.
Of course, that's not a cake recipe, all right? When you see the green zone there, it's like the striker, they have the golden zone. That's the same area. And for the goalkeepers, when you get used to watch all the 1v1 situations, you're going to realize that's the zone that the most saves happens, all right? I'm not saying that they're not going to save out of that zone, no. But you're going to be at least 80% successful on that zone if you know how to do it and how to hold or how to step on the right moment, right? Of course, this scenario here was really crowded, but we have so many situations that's easier to read and understand the situation, because sometimes they have only one option. It's much easier. Of course, when you're teaching the goalkeepers, we go with the easy one first, and then, this is a little bit more complex, but then you move on, you know?
And what I always say I say to a lot of keepers is, don't follow one mistake by another, right? So if you see that breakdown, hold, go, don't go, and everything, if you decided to hold when you should have gone, don't all of a sudden try to go. Now it's a new situation. And so what we see with a lot of goalkeepers is, I was supposed to go there, so I'm going to go. Well, it's too late now. It's too late now. And so now you're totally screwed, right? Yeah. So now it's a totally new situation. Now the ball, you should have gone, it's not. Now it's closer to you. So now it's what's the next choice? And so that's really important to teach younger keepers.
I love what you just said right there, Saskia, because I think that you always say, don't follow one mistake with another mistake. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where that quick thinking, that improvisation, that the highest level goalkeepers can do, is they can problem solve in the middle of a problem and come up with a solution. Let's move on to this right here. Fred, what do we have going on here in this moment?
For me, the most important technique for the goalie is the positioning. If you know where to stay, and if you know the distance between the ball and the goal line, they're going to make your life much easier to play as a goalie. You don't need to be the fastest goalie ever. You don't need to be the flexible have a lot of flexibility, strength. But if you know how to position yourself in a good angle, in a good position, you're gonna have so much success. And then that's the best scenario. It's between the two lines. And then if you're too deep, the goal gets bigger. If you're too high up, you're closing even the angle. But then of course depends. Every situation is different. If you have the ball bouncing and you go too close on a bad timing, you can get caught over. It's like I said, much more complex than looks like. But when we break that down and show them the angles, look at this angle here. If you are one step forward, the goal get much smaller. You have more chance to stop the shot.
I think what you see sometimes with, I think what I've seen in this situation or in these situations, sometimes if you're 1v1 and another attacker is coming on the far side, don't play the pass. And you see goalkeepers do that, so they're not making the correct decision. You are the last defender. The only thing that matters right now is the goal behind you and the person with the ball in front of you. And you see some goalkeepers don't come. They get their angles mixed up because and their positioning because they're worried that they're going to get passed. That's not your problem. That's your defense's problem. If they're not marked up weak side, then you can have an argument after that. But if you play and you get yourself out of position, you're going to get beat.
Yeah.
And then can you go back on that one?
Yeah, for sure.
The most important point is like ball with pressure and cover. If I stay too shallow, I'm going to create a massive angle to the striker. Okay. But if I step up a little bit more, I will cover the area much better. If you can see her body shape, you can see from here, knee bent, the hand body shape is not ready for approach. It's ready to save and react because of the distance. That's the most important thing about 1v1. And then when you make that transition between should I dive or should I split, should I block? That's the biggest transition for me in terms of techniques is the distance, because they think all the balls they need to split, they need to block, and the ball is for a low dive or high dive, and they try to split. It's like doesn't work. You're too far from the ball. The 1v1 needs to be 1.5 meters, maximum 2 meters. Depending on the angle, you're gonna be successful.
I don't know. I hope you use those meters with those young kids so they learn the metric system in Seattle. Because honestly, I
do steps with them. I say 1-2 steps away from the ball. That's great.
By the way, but before we move on to this right now, for anybody out there who has been reaching out, because we always say guest suggestions, topic suggestions, and you pitch yourself. This is how you get on the show, guys. I mean, my gosh, Fred. I mean, all of you who put this type of time and effort into putting presentations together. I mean, just absolutely. It just benefits the goalkeeping community so much. So we really appreciate you taking the time to put these types of things together. I know I speak on Saskia's behalf as well, because she takes screenshots and also asks for the upload after the shows.
I do. I'm like this.
No, that's my pleasure. Like I said earlier, that's my passion. That's what I love to do it, and I spend the time that I have to speed up the process and show the keepers that they can do it. They just need to put the hours on and then understand, try to get better every day, and then get as much as they can from all the goalkeeper coaches that they have a chance to work with. It's not, Fred, it's not Josh, not Tom Dutra. Every single one that you can have a chance to have a practice with, everybody can give you some ideas and things to get better, because different eyes, different scenarios, different situations make you better every day,
Absolutely. So I want to move on to this right here, because in my opinion, for those of you guys who are not watching this right now, and I really encourage you guys to when we have these types of presentations, really go back and watch the video episode if you can. The 1v1, the direct 1v1 on the goalkeeper, in my opinion, I think is for especially for a young goalkeeper, the scariest and the one where they feel like it's their job to make a save, when in reality, Saskia, it's not their job to make a save. So many breakdowns have happened right here. It's just about trying to delay the action.
It is. I mean, your positioning is paramount here. Like, have you got yourself caught in no man's land? Did you come too soon? Did you hold too long? And it's something, like I've said, that needs to be practiced and force. And I agree. Like, the best thing here is if you can slow that player down, delay, because your team's recovering, and they feel that pressure on their back. So by keeping your shape, closing the space properly in the right time, forcing them to slow down and be like, okay, she didn't just come gung-ho. She's not out of position. What do I do? I got to make a decision. I got defenders coming down on me. And 9 times out of 10, well, I like to think you're going to make the save, right? Or you're going to force a bad shot. So I think that it is scary, but I think it's something that needs to be trained. And a lot of times you don't see this trained in practice. That when I was with UCLA, I was like, Sam, we've got to set up this through ball breakaway from midfield. because everything we were doing was quick through balls and breakaways around the top of the 18. We got to see this happens. We got to see it. And the goalkeepers have to get trained on how to make decisions.
Absolutely. Fred, anything you want to add to this?
That's the good situation that you see. The pressure is not that close to the striker, but how far this striker has been running to get inside the box. Do we need to take a decision? Do we need to create that space behind? Back in the day, we used to see a lot the strikers beating the goal, by dribbling. And then these days they try to approach more, and then they create the new situation about 1v1, about splitting and then block, That situation about slide diving, going with your hands to the ball. We're not seeing, because the striker is not taking the decision to beat the goalkeeper all the time anymore. I don't know why. Because
it's so true, Fred.
Tired. Because they're too tired of running.
But Fred, it's so true. You don't see strikers try to take keepers on anymore. And there were a couple of great saves that Lauren for UCLA made last year when Penelope for USC at the time tried to take her on and dribble her. She stayed, she kept her shape. She tried to take a long touch around her, and Lauren got the ball. And I think that you don't see it anymore. The striker's going to try to shoot. They're going to try to, so I don't know why either. That's a good question.
But I will want to bring this up. Go ahead, Fred.
This situation here is when you can play mind with the goalkeeper. With the striker. The goalkeeper can play mind with the striker because they have the control of the ball. They didn't take a bad touch. They coming towards you. Can I fake? Can I drop? No, just do a single movement to see if they're going to get scared and they're going to take a touch away, or they're going to take a touch forward, and then it's a bad touch. We can go there. It's when you can play mind with the striker. That's the best scenario to play mind with them.
I mean, I was going to say, one of the things is that I've noticed, at least for myself and other goalkeepers that I've worked with, is that I always kind of bring up the fact that the longer they've had the ball, the longer they've been in play. You're talking about like the ball breakaway from midfield. They've had so much time to think that their brain is like already fried by the time they get to you, because they're so used to, especially in training, short spaces and making quick decisions, and they've been. Like you said, been running for 30 yards.
What, are they tired?
I would be, I'll tell you that.
But it's true. And I think gone are the days, like what we used to see in the long time, I think that goalkeeper running at them. And what we have to remember is, I think we had this conversation when we were talking with Michelle. I was like, wait, you guys are thinking? I just thought you're just running at me. And they're trying to bait you to just come, because they know that, one, if you come with your momentum and you pull yourself, they can pass the ball right by you, or that is the time they can dribble you, because for you all of a sudden to go laterally and they take a long touch around you, you're never going to get to it. But I think the modern day goalkeeper now gets it and is holding their shape and standing them up, and they're like, oh, forget it. I don't have the energy.
Exactly. I want to finish off with this, right? First off, Fred, this is really, really awesome stuff, man. We're finishing off right here, and I love what you just said right here in regards to take notes. What do you mean by take notes? And I love the little emoji guys that you have right there.
Take notes is because you can have different characteristics according to that keeper. You might be faster than her, or might be taller than her, and then maybe you're gonna take a different decision. You know what I mean? It's not mean that she did right or wrong, but for me it might be different than for her. And then when you take note, did she took a good decision there? What if it was you on that situation? Of course, yeah, I used to put some mistakes with the video, not just successful actions. But what can I do if it was me there? I will do something different. Or I think she took the best decision. And then when we take notes to see why we think.
Well, I think we lost you right there.
I'm back.
You're back. You're back.
Okay, sorry about that. It's just to make sure if it's you on that scenario, what do you think? She took a good decision, or could I go faster? I'm faster than her, or I'm taller than her. Should I spread a little bit more? You put yourself on that scenario and say, oh, I could do the same stuff, or I need to adjust a little bit because of my body shape, because of my hands. My approach is different, but the environment is the same. The soccer is the same. The place is the same. Every single league, you can see the same scenario, and then you just put yourself there and then say, okay, how can I do even better than her? Oh, that's a good, outstanding performance that I can try to apply on my day. All right.
So Siska, I know we're trying to wrap up by 1 o'clock right here. Do you have time for just to break down some of these videos real quick?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So Fred, why don't you set up these videos that you have right here in regards to these different scenarios that we're going to see before we start playing them here?
Sorry, say again. I
said, oh yeah, I think I lost you there. So we've got some of these videos right here that you sent us here. Why don't you break down some of these scenarios? This looks like a similar picture to the one that you had in the presentation here.
Yes, it's the same one.
Okay.
You can play. I don't know if it's playing here for me, but you can play it.
Yeah.
That's the ball. Okay, the first option was the pass, the short pass, and then the super fast that can I approach and go do a slide dive, or should I hold? The pressure is coming behind her. She needs to think really fast, and then what I gonna do it on that decision. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Should I hold? Should I go? What type of technique I'm gonna use?
Brilliant. Look at that right there. I love that. And you made the decision, held, and boom, right in that little area that you were talking about. Stand up and in good shape right there.
Good body shape, good decision. A little bit going backwards, but that happens sometimes. That's not the most important thing. Is saving the ball. Different scenario. Only one option. Can I get caught over my head? Do I need to step up? Do I need to stay a little bit shallow? Or that quick decision that we need to take during the game.
Yeah. So then next one, that's what's coming through right here. It looks like they've got the angle where they're going. Oh, this is the difficult one in my opinion. Is that ball right across the body? Right there into the top of the 18, and now the player's coming in. Not so much time that they're winded and exhausted like we were talking about, but more like in my opinion, this is the type of scenario where the player, the striker, a lot of people expect them to make the finish right here.
It's great. I think also what happens here in that situation is that you have to watch, is this person good? Can they hit over my head? But instead of going too deep, right? So now think if she got too deep and 2 on her line and held, she's never getting here, right? And then the attacker that does get the through ball is going to have the whole goal to shoot at. But because of her positioning, that she could cover the ball if it went over her head, but she's still far enough out that when this does get slotted, now she can stand the player up. And so we find, I think, a lot of keepers that get too deep on this, and now there's too far to come, and they're caught in no man's land.
And then you can see her her body shape when the striker gets the ball. She's up high to put the pressure on the striker. If you go over, I might be able to jump and get it. You know what I mean? And another point on this field, you can see the 6. It's not a safe place to stay there. It might be slippery. Raining day, too slippery. I need to play out of that one and then take a risk. And the save that she made it was out of the 1v1 situation, but was inside the box. She was able to approach. And then when the striker look into the ball again, we have that a little bit more time, a little bit extra time to do one extra step to make even closer to the ball.
I want a lot of young goalkeepers to see this right here because, we talked about default. You have to recognize that she didn't go into that spread with the foot save right there until the player made the shot, put the action in. That's when the save occurred, as opposed to her leg being out and waiting for the player to shoot at that space. So in my opinion, that's a phenomenal save. And that's the right way to do it.
You apply the technique after the shot, not before they shoot, and then you do it. Okay, here.
That's what I'm saying. The kids go too early, and it's just like, okay, what are you doing now? Yeah, it's timing.
Yeah. All right, so now we got a through ball coming in. Now this is around at an angle, and I think this is something that I think a lot of young goalkeepers need to see, because the way that you approach a 1v1 at an angle versus directly in the space of the goal in between the posts is very different. So if you watch, there was a little bit of retreat right here in order to make sure that she's got her angle covered, because if she approaches, she just opens up the goal, in my opinion. She holds, keeps shape.
In a good end,
And there's no reason not to hold and keep shape because your defender's on her.
Yeah. And you can see there who saved the ball was her knee, because she dropped the knee right on the right time to close that central gate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if she comes,
that's a quick reaction.
If she comes, this is what we're talking about, delaying, right? So you're not coming. Sometimes you'll see goalkeepers come, they'll pull themselves out of position, they'll come and they'll get the ball slotted, but delay. Hold your shape here, hold your shape, let the defender, now the defender's recovered and is putting pressure on her, and you force in a technically an easy save.
Yeah.
And matters a lot where the pressure is coming from her right side, from her left side, means she's protecting the far post. I can take care more of the near post. You know what I mean? We need to read that situation, that scenario, that if she goes to the far post on that shot, the defender might be able to step and then block that shot for you, you know. But if she goes to the near post like she tried to, and then they're gonna come straight to me or a little bit to the side.
By the way, I can't tell you how many young goalkeepers in this scenario right here start yelling "keeper," and what happens? The defender slides off that player right there, and then it's a whole disaster.
Yeah,
right? They're supposed to trust in your defender.
Like a lot of young keepers would come right on that touch. You're too far, and that's what that attacker's hoping, right? You're never gonna get there and everything, but your defender's recovering. Delay.
Yeah. Boom. Love it.
Yep.
All right. All right. We'll do one more and then we'll start wrapping up right here. All right. So what is the scenario right here? It looks like the ball's coming at an angle, and then the player decides whether they're going to play the ball across or just come in directly at the goalkeeper. They decide to keep coming directly at the goalkeeper. Again, it's another hold position. This is a better angle, I think, for a lot of people to be able to see. Similar scenario, but better angle here.
Yeah. It's good.
Yes, and then the player has the full control of the ball, you know, and then we cannot stand still too much, and then you can see when she prepares to shoot, and then she take an extra step to close the angle even more, you know what I mean?
Yep.
That's happened even more in the game now because of the cutbacks. They're coming with so much freedom on that angle, then we need to take a decision. If she does a cutback here, that's the defender job to block. But if I stay inside the goal too much, I'm giving her angle, time, space to think, and then the problem will be even worse.
Yeah, this is well done.
Oh my gosh, Fred, I love what you just brought up right there. And as we wrap up, I want to bring that up with Saskia right there. I think a lot of times young goalkeepers or even older goalkeepers think that everything's their responsibility, and they try to do more than they're supposed to do. And they're not willing to recognize what is their responsibility and what is somebody else's responsibility. And they're not willing to pass that buck.
Yeah, and that's what I'm talking about. Like, your job here isn't to cover that slotted ball far. It's to take care of your angle, make your decisions, stand them up, and deal with the player on the ball. But make the right angles here. So this is incredible because she has no far post shot here whatsoever.
Yeah,
whatsoever.
That's a great angle. Yeah.
Yeah, she's got nothing. The only thing she could do is try to get a slotted ball, but your defender's central and stuff like that. But the angle that she's taken, the pressure that she's putting on the ball, that I just think the attacker's like, I don't know what to do. I'm just going to kick it at her.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And what's happened a lot is because of the cutback situation that happen often, the goalkeeper is trying to guess, he's gonna pass back, and then they just get scored near post. Like, that's your job, man. Near post, there is your job to do it. If they pass back, you can approach and block. That's another scenario that we're gonna see in a video here. Probably have one. That's the stepping for the cutback approach for the 1v1. But that's a step 2. The step 1 is forcing them to take a decision, and then we react.
I want to finish on this one, last one right here, if you've got a second here, because this is the one that you're talking about, is that through ball from midfield.
Yep.
Dribble down over the top.
And this is a tough decision, because I think you also don't know. You have to wait to see that first touch, right? So is that first touch? What if she first timed it, right? Mm-hmm. Which would be an incredible shot. But what if she did? I mean, the skill is there. Right off this, boom. What if she first timed that ball? So you have to see what that first touch is going to be. Hold your position, then make your decision on this.
Yeah. Look at that right there. So you got the hold, don't go, boom.
Yep. Yeah. Good stuff. I love all these.
Oh, just
and
a
of
nice
course
little touch right there.
she guessed a little bit, but she left her, spread her body on
Yeah,
the
and she
situation
dragged
that
her
the
feet.
ball and the feet saved the ball. That works as well,
Hey, it's out of the net.
Happen.
Yeah,
Yes.
you kept it out of the net. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. All right. All right. Well, I think honestly, I think people have seen more than enough, to be honest with you, Fred. And I really appreciate you doing this. And if you don't mind sharing some of this stuff on the union, that would be phenomenal too. I think a lot of people would benefit in the forum if you could share some of this content as well too. As we wrap up right here, if people want to connect with you, and I know you've got a lot of stuff on your YouTube channel. I know that you post a lot on your Twitter and everything like that. Where's the best place to reach you?
Instagram, just Bragaglia Fred. My name, the last name coming first, and then Fred after, on Instagram or Facebook and YouTube as well. I have a few sessions there. Massive thank you to Coach Mario as well, that got in touch with you guys again, and then he asked me to jump out again. It's my pleasure, and I appreciate the goalkeeper coach that I want to hear from different perspectives as well. That's great, and a big thank to him and for you guys. Some of my goalkeepers here from Sounders, they are here listening as well. Thanks for attending. That's great, and that's it.
Yeah. And I want to give a shout out to everybody at Seattle Sounders, Tommy Dutra, Stefan Fry, everybody over there. You all are doing a fantastic job, and we really appreciate you guys sharing the content and coming on the show and everything like that. You guys all have been phenomenal. One last question here, because I think this is a good one from a parent right here. It looks like Jason Armstrong goes, 9-year-old daughter keeper, undersized parents. Best suggestion to help her stay in goal as long as possible before being pushed out for height.
Well, she's only 9. She's only 9, so give her some time to grow. But I had a great goalkeeper at UCLA, Adalia, and Adalia, was 5'4", 5'5". Maybe I'm even giving her an inch or two. But her positioning and her understanding of her height and limitation, and being able to read the game, she just perfected her positioning. So she might as well have been 6 feet out there, the way she could handle crosses, the way she could handle through balls and everything, because she learned how to position herself properly.
Yeah. When the parents or the goalies came, I'm not super high, I say, search about Aline Hayes, and then you see her playing goal, and then you let me know what you think about height. And you can go for the men's league as well. How many great keepers we had, like 5'10", 5'8", I don't know.
Absolutely.
It's not about the height, it's about the quality.
Aline is a phenomenal example, talking about somebody who played at the highest level, playing, World Cups and Olympics, and, obviously, played, in Spain for a long time professionally, and now over at Orlando as the goalkeeper coach over there. I think she's a fantastic role model for a young girl like Jason's right there to look up. And so shout out to Aline out there. All right, guys. So if you guys want to reach out to us, contact at Inside the 18 Media or at Goalkeeper Podcast on all social medias. If you have a guest suggestion or a topic suggestion. Before we wrap up, shout out to the Girls Soccer Network. I think you just posted a piece about the Union Sports and the podcast as well too. So Saskia, I don't know if you want to give a quick shout out to
great interview. What a great network and everything. If you don't know it, get on it. Girls Soccer Network, they're amazing. Everything they do, super proud they're supporting the Union and wanted to do this article. So it'll be up on the Union. It'll be on all social media platforms. Check it out, sign up. But thanks, you guys. It was awesome.
Yeah. All right, guys, let's go grab some lunch. That's all the time on Inside the 18, and we are out. Later, guys.